Hey y'all, welcome to KGD Creative by Kim Dixon. I'm Kim and I'm so happy that you stopped by today. Today's project is using some items from Brutus Monroe. I'm using the Mother's Bouquet stamp set. The sentiment is from the Homegrown Happiness stamp set from Brutus Monroe. I'm also using a piece of scarlet cardstock from Brutus Monroe for the card mat. And I'm doing some alcohol marker coloring with some Nouveau alcohol markers. These markers are awesome as they come in a package of 3 colors for perfect blending. You get a light, a medium, and a dark shade in each package, so there's no wondering what marker goes with what. I'll leave a link below for the markers that I used. Let's get to the card. So as you see, I'm going to be making a slimline card. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink to stamp out the image from Mother's Bouquet stamp set. I'm using my stamping tool to get good even pressure all across that stamp because it's very large. And part of my cardstock that I'm going to be coloring on is hanging off. I'll end up trimming that down to fit onto the front of my slimline card base. I did end up stamping that twice to get a really crisp impression. I pulled out 2 sets of my Nouveau alcohol markers. I pulled out the rich reds and the woodland greens to color in the flowers. Once I got everything colored, the center I wanted a little bit orange. I didn't have any orange on the Nouveau marker, so I just pulled in a Spectrum Noir marker that I had. Now I'm going to cut down my colored panel. I'm going to cut it down to 8 3/4 by 3 1/4. I can easily get all of the image lengthwise in the 8 3/4, but when I try to cut it down to 3 1/4, I do have to trim off some of the image. It really does end up looking very nice on the card though. The reds that I used on those flowers are just really, they're so vibrant. They really do pop and look good. Now I'm going to bring in the red cardstock. It's the scarlet cardstock from Brutus Monroe. I really do like the cardstock from Brutus Monroe. It's nice and thick. It cuts well. And it holds up good. It just gives your card a really nice feel. I like a nice thick card. But I'm cutting the red cardstock to 9 inches by 3 1/2. Then I'm going to pull the gray in, and it's going to be my card base. I'm going to cut it 9 1/4 by 7 1/2. I'm going to score it at 3 3/4. And that'll make a 9 1/4 by 3 3/4 card base. I know there are a lot of different sizes for slimline cards. I really like to make a big full card. It really fills up the envelope and it looks nice. Gives you a lot more room for your images, your colored images or your stamped images. Now you see me scoring it at 3 3/4. And don't worry if you don't have a big scoreboard. Just flip it around and score it on the other end. I think this cardstock is a Nina cardstock because it's got a line in it. And there's a pack of Nina cardstock that I have that's got like a little bit of a textured line in it. I'll see if that's the cardstock, and if it is, I'll link it below. Now I'm going to take my red card mat and glue it straight down to my card base. I'm going to use Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. I never thought that I would find a glue that I liked as well as I did art glitter glue, but I really do like, I'm really getting to like this Barely art glue. I like the tip on that particular bottle. It's very, very thin, and it's precision. It's precision art glue. Now, it wouldn't be one of my cards if I didn't pop something up on foam tape. So I'm going to pop that colored panel up on some foam tape. Put the pen back in my glue so I don't cry in the morning. Now I'm going to put the foam tape on the back of my colored panel and pop it up on the red card mat. Seldom do I make a card that I don't put some foam tape on it somewhere. Something's going to be dimensional. Now I'm pulling out the Homegrown Happiness stamp set, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment on this strip of gray. I'm going to stamp Thinking of You. I'm going to use my Misty, and I'm going to stamp it using Versamark ink. I've pulled out my little stamping buddy, and I've powdered up that piece of cardstock to get any oils or static off of it. And I'm going to stamp it up with the Versamark ink, and we're going to heat emboss this sentiment in white. Once I get the sentiment embossed on that piece of gray cardstock, I'm going to trim that little piece down. I'm just going to make an angle cut on the right side of that piece of cardstock so that it will fit nicely on the bottom of the card. And I'm going to pop it up on foam tape as well. Okay, because my card base is that darker gray color, I'm going to put a white panel on the inside. That'll do two things. It'll give you room to write your sentiment, your handwritten sentiment on the inside of the card, and it will also bring the white from the outside of the card to the inside. And that panel is going to be cut 9 by 3.5. I'll just glue it flat down to the inside of the card with the Barely art glue. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I hope you enjoyed this card. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd be honored if you would. And hit that little bell icon so that you can be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you found value in this particular video, hit that like button. Leave a comment, share it with your friends. Until next time, happy crafting!